Alrighty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. No, sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. I want to welcome you all back, and we're going to get started with our morning analysis. Now, we do have Canadian employment today. It's like I said, it should be a fairly slow day, but you know, it's those days that you're like, oh look, it's slow. Nothing's going to happen today. Yeah, sometimes these are the days where everything happens. So you obviously have to be very careful in those assumptions. And like I said, we're you know, you go back to the futures, and we are just kind of teetering on, you know, very dangerous areas, and we closed right at the neckline of the head and shoulder pattern here, and we've bounced back. But I don't know if I'm all you know, feeling giddy about where we're currently at right now. You know, I wouldn't get too cozy up here where we're currently at. Anyway, let's go into the euro dollar. Let's start there. All right, here's the euro, and as you can see, I'll just point out for those of you that are coming in a little bit late, you know, this pretty much illustrates the entire week, all the dojis this entire week. Very frustrating day, but you know, the good news is we know where the breakout points are right now. We had a slight false breakdown, took us to 38% retracement. That took us right down to 113.25, basically. So 113.30. I've been writing down, but let's just write down 113.25. That's an asterisk. Resistance 114. Well, 114.50. We made a slight breakout to the upside. False breakout. Okay, 114.50. So we're going to write down 114.50 asterisk, and we're in a range. And I'll tell you guys, you know, if you want to save yourself some headache, why don't you go ahead and just you know, place an alarm. You could do it like this, right? If you use like MB trading, you can go, add alert, easy alert, and then add a simple alert for euro dollar. Let's see, you got to put a sound in there. Let's see, you got to go euro dollar right there. Yeah, I did this before, but how in the hell did I don't do this all the time, but nope. How? There it is. Okay, ding dong, ding dong. All right, and yep, it says ding dong. All right, and provide a formula for your alert. No, I don't want a formula. Damn it, I did this before. Oh no, no, it's not. All right. Anyway, you can set up alerts. I forget how to do it. I had it down, and now I don't do it that often. But if you want to, you know, maybe help yourself out with frustrations, you just put a little bit of alert here and here, and then you just kind of sit on the sidelines until we breach one of those. You know, so you don't get stuck. You know, getting chopped up in this mess. All right. But we know where our you know, key support and resistance are for today. All right, let's take a look at the cable. So the cable, you know, okay, I'm gonna go to the daily chart first of all. So here's our inverted head and shoulder pattern. I'm a little concerned with it because our right shoulder is becoming a little bit too long in the tooth. We haven't been able to turn higher. It's making me nervous. And it's, to me, as days drag on, it's looking more and more like a continuation pattern. But I think what's going to really move the cable is the euro. So in other words, if the pound Okay, if the pound starts or the euro starts to break down, then I think that the cable is going to have to follow suit. All right. So, and the data that came out today was not favorable. The manufacturing production numbers came in worse than expected. Goods trade balance came in worse than expected. Industrial production numbers out of the UK came in worse than expected. So the pound is higher, and it was trying to squeeze a little earlier this morning, and it got turned right back around. All right. Now it's positive despite all the weak data. That's good news if you're, if you're holding cable longs. The problem is that if the euro breaks through that support, I think the pound is going to suffer too. Now, we've been writing down 140.50, but really now that we've been there, 140 is going to be critical support, okay? So 140 is key support. If 140 gives way, I am pretty confident that at that point in time, we are going to start driving back towards these lows here, right here, all right? So you have to be really careful if the pound takes out that 140 level. Okay, I think we'll come down here and we'll be testing this support over here. Then in order to get rallying and really to push up here, I think the euro is going to have to break higher. Now, my thoughts about that. I mean, the euro dollar, I mean, it's not too far from 114.50, but really 115 is really key resistance on the euro. I mean, so you go back out to the euro dollar and you go, okay, well, here's the euro and here's the daily chart, and we know that 115 is really key. Even if we take out the 114.50, I mean, how much lift are we going to get? We would probably be capped by this, the underside of this trend line, this dotted line. So, I am going to be pretty skeptical of the euro staging any type of major rally. So if you look at the pound, how's the pound supposed to get all the way the hell up here? Unless something dramatically changes in the Brexit polls, or maybe some comments that have come out from some politicians supporting one direct, or maybe a a stay vote. We're going to have a tough time. We're going to have a tough time really, rallying here. What will take off the downside pressure of the cable is right here, and that comes in at 141.70. We've written that down before. We tagged that. What was it, Wednesday? Okay, that has to be taken out for this downside pressure to be taken off. So that is significant. We're in range, but we're threatening to turn bearish again. Really threatening. Okay. All right. Let's go take a look at the Swissy. So the Swissy is very similar to the euro in the sense that it is just holding this big 618 retracement. The dailies, are grinding along that lower trend line, but we're coming up to this channel resistance here. Okay, so if we manage, and let me get rid of this one, I don't need that anymore. So if we manage to take out this 96-cent level here, that would be pretty bullish. As a matter of fact, if you're thinking about along the same lines of the euro, if the Swissy takes out 96 cents, that probably suggests that the euro dollar is dropping below 113.30. Okay, so I'll say it again. If the 96 cent level is being taken out on the dollar Swiss, that probably is coinciding with the euro dollar breaking below the 113.30 level. Okay, so Swissy, 96 cents key resistance in this range. Support 95.20. I mean, if we can make our way down there, even if we push to new lows, we're not going much further. Maybe 95 cents, but remember the big 618 that's down here. So 95.20 is support. All right. Okay. Let's take a look at the dollar yen. So the dollar yen, you know, at this point, I'm pretty happy I got limited out yesterday at 108.50. Obviously, we dropped a lot further. I drew yesterday. I'm like, hey, the Greek gods would be singing if we got up to 110. Sorry, guys, I don't feel like singing the Greek gods this morning. I'm too tired. You don't need to hear it anyway, do you? I don't think so. All right, so 110 is key resistance. Okay, 110. If we get up there, I believe that's going to be a great area to be on the short side of the dollar yen. Let me check something else. You know what? Let me stop here for a second. Look at the 618. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Look at the 618. Damn it. Damn it, man. Uh-oh. Is that it? Overnight highs are 109.10. 109.10. That's it. Shoot. Oops, what happened there? 109.10. Crap. That's a 618. This all happened. This all happened in Asia after I was at baseball practice with the kids, and I got home late and went to bed. Ate and went to bed actually. That's resistance right there. Okay. That's resistance. I don't think we're even going to make it up here to 109.40. I mean, maybe we will, but okay. So what puts the downside pressure back on? If we break that, which comes in, what's the low here? 108.57. What's the high here? 108.55. If we break back below 108.55, that would suggest to me that the bearish trend is about ready to continue. So let's talk about this for a second. So here's the dollar yen, right? We stopped at the 618. You guys can see that, right? Stopped at the 618. Here is the that's the resistance, support. Okay. Here's the S&P futures. So if we break through here, the stock market's going to give it up. Plain and simple. Okay. You guys see how we're kind of putting the puzzle pieces together this morning? Two and two. Two and two makes two. Wait, hold on. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna adjust my headset there. Okay. Huh. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay. That's that. All right. Dollar Canadian. So the Canadian really is strengthened. Obviously, it's crude oil too. I mean, crude's doing the trick here. Dollar Canadian's come right back down. This has got to we got to be getting close to a place to buy the dollar Canadian. I mean, I'm long, but I'm just saying, you know, for those of you that aren't long, um, actually, I'll keep that. Uh, why not buy the dollar Canadian right now? I'm just asking for a friend. How many of you guys are not long the dollar Canadian? James says, me. So? Your risk is right there below 130.50. It's a good risk reward. And if you get stopped out, you get stopped out. I mean, if it's a strong Canadian number, then you know you get, you know, through 130.50, you get stopped out. Okay. Hold on. We're hovering around a 618. Yeah, I mean, basically that's the place that if you want to be along the dollar Canadian, I mean, that's it, right? Because if it breaks below 130.50, you know, if you're an intraday trader, then you probably want to get out there, and then we might test 130 again. But 130, I'm going to write down 130.50 as support today. David said, I'm waiting for the weekly pivot at 130.50. Yeah, weekly pivot is at 130.50, and JT says, I'm waiting for 130.20 in the dollar Canadian. You're waiting for down here. You know, my 2 cents is if we break through this 130.50, we're probably going to test down here at 130 and maybe even lower. Maybe we might get down to like this 127% extension, quite possibly. Hold on. Kind of just figuring it all out here. Okay. See if we break here, we might come all the way down to 130. Okay. Let me look at something here on the Canadian employment. Just bear with me. That's interesting. Okay, so here's Canadian. That's housing starts. The last 2 months, Canadian employment has been below expectations. The trend in Canadian employment is not positive. Look at the last 2 years, right? So the last 2 years of employment look like, with crude sustaining weak prices, I wouldn't be surprised if we come in below expectations today. We've missed the last 2 jobs reports, which means that would, if we do, that spikes the dollar Canadian back higher, right? So resistance is going to be especially if we're forming some sort of triangle here, which very easily be it. It'll be right back at 131.50. Remember, Canadian employment's really all that's going on today, so we're still on a bearish trend. For those of you that don't know that, you know what? I'm going to turn us to neutral here. I'm sorry. Okay, because if you look at the weekly chart, this trend line, I know I've said as long as we stay below this trend line, bearish, but I don't know. We're doing a lot of sideways action here. I'm going to flip this over to range for right now. Okay, but today, I think that's our focus today. And if we do break below here, we're going to test 130. All right. Okay. I'll be back in a few minutes. When I come back, we'll do the Kiwi, the Aussie dollar index. We have all the time in the world this morning, guys. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a few moments. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. We're going to finish up our analysis with the Kiwi. Here's the Kiwi. And so the Kiwi, trying to build on this flag pattern, haven't been able to do it. Just kind of bouncing around here. It's just flip-flopping around. But you know, that doesn't mean it's not you know, not in play, if you will. But I think it was, I forget who it was yesterday. He said, hey, you know, we got a trend line here, and then we broke it. But what's interesting is we just came back and retested it. So, you know, whether that's valid or not, it might be this, what I originally drew, right? Like this. Grab the add. Darn it. There we go. Something like that, right? Let's get rid of these fibs. We don't need those anymore. Okay, so we got this flag pattern. You know, we just have failed to really capitalize on any downside. But, you know, the good news is just like the euro dollar, we know where our support is. Support's very key at 67.55. That's the low right there. So we can go 67.55, put an asterisk there because that is very important. And then resistance is, well, I mean, we might have a flag and a flag and a flag and a flag. You know, right? This could be a flag and a flag and a flag. Let's see, that looks like a 50% retracement, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty damn close. So 68.10 is resistance today. And frankly, you know, if you want to get really bearish, the Kiwi, you wait till that support's taken. Okay, let's go over to the Aussie. Here's the Aussie dollar. The failed rally attempt above 77 cents. You guys know that this is on a daily and weekly basis a big deal because it's a 618, right? 618 there, and also I think let me double check this. It's a 38%. No, it's not. Okay, it's not. Okay, never mind. So it's a 618. we've obviously found some resistance there, but we haven't been able to really push the downside yet. I say yet. Technically we're still making some higher highs or higher lows there. What that suggests to me is this is probably going to be pretty important support right through here. Now, why do I have this red line? What is this red line all about? Where does that one come from? Okay. That's where it comes from. So we have 74, 74.80, 74.40. I'm going to write them both down. 74.40, 74.80. Two levels of support on the way down that are pretty significant, right? Here, breakout point, and right here, all right? So resistance. Think about this for a second. So if you want to play the Aussie to the long side, probably want to do it here, right? Best risk reward is down here. If you want to play it to the short side, this is 786 right there. So 76 cents. So that's the way to play it. I mean, you want to short it here. If you want to get long down there. Right now, you sit on your hands. And when you're sitting on your hands, do not stick your thumb in the air. Got it? Got it? Good. Don't do it. I know you're thinking about it. You're like, hey, wait a second. Well, I am kind of bored. Don't do it. Don't. Because I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to envision it. All right, dollar index. There's the DAX. 50% retracement coming up. Okay, dollar index. Ew, okay. You guys are no fun. You guys are no fun on a Friday. So here's the dollar index. Nice little descending wedge. All these dojis. We're skating across the lower end of this trend line. 786. See the 786 right here? It's holding. So that means the spike low today, very important, or yesterday, 94. 94.00, very important. Resistance now is at 95. I don't think we have to get too complex here. I don't think it's anything that, we really need to, like I said, we don't need to get too crazy, it's just 95, actually 95.10. You guys wanna take the day off? Great, take the day off. Wait for the dollar index to break. Wait for the euro dollar to break, okay? The more clicking you do, the more wealthy you're gonna make your broker. All right, let's go over to the peso. Okay, peso, this is really interesting. Let's go over to the daily chart. So yesterday I said, okay, And I want you guys to think about what I said. I said, and I tweeted this and we talked about it. I said the 18 level for the peso is the 38% retracement, right? I assume if the stock market breaks through 2035, which it did, right? We broke lower in the S&P. We broke 2035. We went to like 2025 or something. I'm like, if the S&P futures break 2035, that will probably coincide with the dollar peso breaking 18. Because the dollar peso did not break 18, nor did it come within, four or 500 pips of it, maybe that was a clue the stock market was not going to break down yesterday. Interesting, right? If you think about that. So, you know, in my opinion here, the peso really key resistance comes in is that, the key resistance is 818. Support is, we're probably coming up on support right now. I mean, like right now. Hold on. We had to work off some pretty overbought conditions anyway on the hourlies, and we have. $17.73. Wow, if you guys want to get long the peso, this might be the place to do it from a risk reward standpoint. 17.73. Oops. Resistance. It's key resistance too because it's a 38% retracement. All right. Let's take a look at the Nordic currencies really quick. Here's the US dollar, Norwegian krona. There's nothing to do here. I'm going to tell you this about the Norwegian krona is this. Personally, I think this is a wedge forming, but I don't know if there's anything to do with the Norwegian krona right now. That's okay. There will be eventually. Here's the Swedish krona. Look at the U.S. dollar Swedish krona. Look at how strong it is. We're near a longer term bottom, just like the dollar index. This U.S. dollar Swedish krona almost looks like the dollar index. Some, myself included, would say the U.S. dollar Swedish krona is a precursor to the dollar index. So when Alan F. asks which comes first, the chicken or the egg, I'm going to say the chicken. And the Swedish krona is, I've said that for years about it leading, and so does the Canadian from time to time. You just kind of got to see which one, is leading. But man, that Swedish krona. Oh man. Whoa, dollar yen. Whoop, 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 whoop. Dollar yen. Dollar yen decided to just want to take a nosedive right now. ask. Why? Why, mommy? Why? What happened there? Yeah, look at the dollar yen breakdown. What's interesting is it's not the rest of the dollar pairs. I mean, look at this. Pound yen, New Zealand yen. I'm just clicking on what other yen pairs I can see right now. New Zealand yen, which I'm short from yesterday. It's coming back. Swiss yen, Canadian yen. Careful with that with the jobs reports coming up. Aussie yen. Interesting. Wow, that just kind of came out of nowhere, right? Like out of nowhere. Huh. Okay, I just tweeted out something about the yen because it's moving, and it's just the yen. It's not. It's not everything else. It's just the yen. Okay, let me take some questions from earlier. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna play a little catch up here. Uh, Thomas says, "Morning, Blake. Hope